how do things sustain themselves? And I've been thinking a lot about the context for sustainability, because at the end of the day, here we are, we're communicating with each other, and I know we've had this conversation before, but are we communicating correctly with each other, or with the right understanding, even though we're using the same words? And so I think it makes me think more about communications, about the context in which we're communicating, how we're communicating, the content of what we're communicating, and this sense of continuity, right? The things have a way of going on, and how can we be part of that continuous cycle, whether we're applying the word sustainability to our own lives, to the things we do, to our businesses, or some other, sustaining something else. Sustainability has to be applied to something.
Let's do this. Let's do a bit of a visualization. Now, Sophie's passing. Can we apply sustainability principles to that life question, or life principles into sustainability? Now, how would the circular economy handle that situation? But I'm not referring to the material side of things, but again, it could be like a business process, which there was a process that was in place that gave you a return, joy, whatever it is. It kept you busy. It required a little bit of maintenance, like scrambled eggs, but that also gave you a bit of joy. Now everything comes to an end. So what is the sustainable answer to it? And how could a business adapt to that sort of situation?
Well, I think that's where the communications come in, and how we visualize what we mean by sustainability. And I have a sense, I know you've heard me talk about this before, that I think our visuals for how we've been trying to see and imagine sustainability have not been good enough. They're okay to start with. They're okay to move us from one dimension, if you're a business, thinking only about the economics of your business, and adding in environment and adding in social elements. But they're linear buckets. We've just added another thing to think about. There's no sense of a process. There's no sense of a system. There's no sense of a flow between those three things. And so, to come back to Sophie and nature's life cycle, and then make some sort of approximation to a business and a business cycle, I think we need to use different terms than the 3 E's and the 3 P's. And for me, it's creation. There's a creation moment when life is created. That could be the equivalent of a product being created or a service being created. There's a period of growth, which leads to a maturity. And then, as in Sophie's case, as we've seen over the last few weeks, that maturity goes to aging, and aging to death. And there is a business equivalent, right? So you launch your product, you make every effort to make it grow in whatever dimensions you're tracking your growth. But at a certain point, it peaks. It reaches a maturity level. And without some changes, it's not going to continue to grow indefinitely. In the same way that a tree doesn't grow to the sky forever, right? It reaches a peak of growth. And this happens in your business. And so that's when version 2.0 comes out, and then version 3.0, right? You're trying to sustain that growth and continue it moving with another generation. And so there's an intergenerational piece, which I think ties back to both the business and to the natural order of things.